Alright, yo, what's up? My name's Patrouski, and in my opinion, the #1 way to abuse the Xmas event for profit in PokeMMO in the year 2025 by all types of players, you can do this if you're a new player, intermediate player, or even endgame player, is just catching swarm Pokemon, turning them in, and then getting Mysterious Balls, and then selling those Mysterious Balls for profit. Right now, Mysterious Balls over on the GTL, there's a Mysterious Pokeball, Great Ball, and Ultra Ball, which all come from this event. There are older ones from older events, but just ignore those for, for the sake of this video. There's a Mysterious Pokeball from 2025, which is 17,000 Pokeyen, the Great Ball, which is 44k, and the Ultra Ball, which is currently around 95k, but they were just going for like 110k a second ago. So these prices are fluctuating a lot right now. Just keep that in mind as you see this. At the end of the day, you should be making anywhere from like 200 to 400,000 Pokeyen profit throughout the event while you're doing this activity. It's just generally a really good strat to do. And it's really simple and easy at the heart of it. There's a lot of extra details you can do to like get a leg up and make extra Pokeyen and maximize your profit, right? But at the end of the day, it's really just catching Pokemon, turning them in, selling the Mysterious Balls. That's it. Now, first things first, how do you actually catch the Pokemon? How do you find the Pokemon? Because they are swarm Pokemon, so they randomly spawn all around the world. In my opinion, the best way is in my Discord, and I don't mean to use that as a way to like chill out my Discord. There's no like benefit to having people in my Discord aside from just a really cool community. If you want to be in there, cool. I always try to tell people, if you want to join my Discord, use it for the event callouts and then leave after the event is over. Please do use it as a resource. My Discord is what it is because the community makes it what it is, and you guys are so amazing. So check out the Discord. If you don't see the swarm callouts under the Christmas tab, you might need to go over to the channels and roles thing and turn on all event like little things. So you might need to turn on that or sign up for that role essentially if you don't see the chats. But other than that, let's go and break down the basics. So you want to go check out the swarm chat, check the Discord chat, go find the Pokemon in game. So for example, someone called Stantler in Hoenn, Route 111, you head over to this location and you catch the Pokemon. Now there are different ways to catch Pokemon, and I'll go over this in more detail in a quick sec, but I do have a list down here. So I'm going to scroll down my list and basically go find Stantler. So I found Stantler. Stantler is False Swipe, Spore, and then if it's daytime, Ultra Ball, or if it's nighttime, you can actually Dust Ball. So I'm going to go ahead and start doing that in the background as we go over some extra tips on how to do this a little bit better. So you do need a good catching Pokemon. That usually consists of a catching Breloom. I really recommend Poison Heal and Toxic Orb because it'll help you infinitely sustain throughout the event. Watch out for things like Sandstorm on, when catching Statlers. This is day 1 of the event, so apologies. That's a great example of why you might need to do different things. I did not expect that. Wow. So this is actually a pretty difficult swarm to show as a test swarm, so apologies. This might be one where you might want to like Spore, do something like Spore into Ultra Ball, I guess. But this would be a weird one. Certain swarms like this, like a Stantler spawn in the desert, you might even want to just dodge entirely, and I'll talk about that more in a quick sec. But that was a terrible example swarm, so my apologies. But generally, you want a good catching Pokemon that is usually a Breloom and a Smeargle if possible, but a Breloom and a Smeargle that is plus attack nature, usually Adamant, Lonely, or Naughty, 2v2 attack, 2v2 speed EVs. Same with the Smeargle over here, attack, Adamant, Naughty, or Lonely nature, and you want 20 plus attack and speed. Toxic Orb and Poison Heal on the Breloom if possible. You can do leftovers on the Smeargle, will do just fine as well. The Smeargle is nice because you can end up going Soak on it, which can matter for Trico swarms we have not seen yet this year, but they were available last year, so we're expecting them to return. So False Swipe, Spore, Soak. And then on our Breloom, you want False Swipe, Spore, and then Substitute, or the last two moves are kind of optional. You want a good HM Pokemon, either like 1 to 2 good HM Pokemon as well to help you traverse the world. There's a lot of surfing, a lot of flying. Sometimes you have to rock climb to get to certain swarms, so you might need certain HMs to get to certain swarm locations. Having all 5 regions done is also heavily encouraged and will definitely increase your profit per hour. If you don't have all 5 regions done, it's going to be a lot more difficult, unfortunately. There's not really a great way around that. But that's kind of, you got to just try to prepare for events like these whenever possible. I do also recommend a quick setting change. This is what this is. Put player limit on 1. If you go to your settings and then go to video and then go to player render limit, putting this on 1 will make it a lot easier to see a lot of the swarm Pokemon in the overworld. Sometimes when you have that on unlimited, which is the default, you literally can't see the overworld sprites because there's so many Pokemon at the locations. I'm going to go ahead and try to catch this Stantler in a different way. This is me experimenting in live time. Once again, this is day 0. The event's been out for, I think, 2 or 3 hours. So we're kind of still experimenting experimenting. Stantler's kind of a weird one. Like Stantler specifically in this desert spawn is like very niche. You won't run into this very often, so don't worry about it. You know, the way that I'm having to do this. This is pretty rare. I'd probably just skip this or like quick ball it if you want to. But we're going to talk about the different type of balls. I don't even have Ultra Balls on my Iron Man account. Perfect example. Okay, we do it live. You know. The mysterious ball quality will increase as you turn more Pokemon in. So we saw that Pokeball, Great Ball, and Ultra Ball differences. You do need specific Pokemon, or specific Pokemon to turn in to get the best rates. What I mean by that is, I believe if you turn in 3 of the Pokemon the NPCs are asking for, you will get 1 mysterious ball, and I'll show you exactly what that looks like here after this fight. I'll just run from this. This is a terrible example. Apologies. You do want to have a variety in Pokeballs. I recommend stocking up on Pokeballs and Ultra Balls, which I don't have right now, Dust Balls, and Quick Balls. Quick Balls are really good for this event. I definitely recommend. It's worth putting some Pokeyen into a ton of Quick Balls if you have the Pokeyen up front. Some catches might be worth to sell on the GTL. If you like a 2 times 31 Pokemon, for example, you might be able to just sell that for more profit than turning in for mysterious balls. And here's what the NPCs actually look like, and these are all located around the world. You can see the location list right here. So in Kanto, they're located in Vermilion City. In Johto, it's in Olivine City. In Hoenn, it's in Slateport. In Sinnoh, it's in Hearthome. And then in Unova, it's in Castelia. But I really don't recommend going to the Castelia location because it's so far from the PC, and you have to constantly, when you turn in Pokemon, you have to constantly run back and forth from the PC to their location, right? So what you basically should have a box like this full of a ton of swarm Pokemon you've caught from the events. What mine looks like, obviously. So what I would do when it's time to turn in Pokemon, I would just go ahead and go turn all those in, go grab whatever they're asking for. I know they want Smoochum, Chingling, and I forget the third Pokemon, so I'll just grab a few things and probably come back in a quick sec. Yeah, Snow Run. Okay, perfect. So you want to go ahead and make sure you have those mons in your party. Go talk to these little NPCs. You want to turn these in. They do say like no by default. It's like click the yes or whatever. If you just spam Z, it actually won't work. And you do have to have all 3 Pokemon. This is where people are going to enter situations very often where you're called like Smoochum locked. Like I was Smoochum locked earlier, or like Snow Runt locked, or like basically when you have a bunch of other Pokemon but you don't have the exact species that you need to actually continue turning in. That's one of the more frustrating parts of the event. We got to just try to stock up. I got a mysterious Ultra Ball as my first ever reward. Wow, that's really lucky on the Iron Man account. Hell yeah. But it's really just this simple. I don't want to overcomplicate it. At the end of the day, it's just catching Pokemon and then turning them in. And then there also probably is a vanity reward. We haven't really seen too much of that because it's just so early on in the event. But there will probably be vanity rewards as you turn in more and more. For example, for Halloween, we saw the Froggy. The Froggy hat. This was the vanity reward. So if you like stuff like this, it wouldn't surprise me if we see that coming from this little turning in swarms as well. Now, I do have a few calculations here in terms of what are the best ways to catch these Pokemon. It's kind of a sloppy list, but it's what I've come to personally, and I'm going to be using it personally. So for mons that require false swipe into a spore, into an Ultra Ball, and then if you have a Dust Ball at nighttime, you want to go for that. But Ultra Ball is only 70% chance catch on Glaceon, Stantler, and Smoochum. It is 100% if you throw a Dust Ball and it actually is nighttime. Now, Snover, Lapras, and Chingling and Trico all require different, like, specific strategies. Snover, you want to false swipe and Ultra Ball. It's a 94% catch rate. You can, like, if you want to, you can soak it, false swipe, Spore, and I think, like, Great Ball for 100% catch rate, or, like, maybe a Pokeball even. I think false swipe into Ultra Ball is well worth it, personal opinion. Lapras, false swipe, Spore, Net Ball is 100% catch rate, I believe. Chingling, Spore first, and then false swipe on turn 2, and then Pokeball is 94% catch rate. You can Great Ball for 100% catch rate, but I think Pokeball for 94% is more than worth it. It has the move Uproar. That's why you don't false swipe on turn 1. If you false swipe on turn 1 and then Chingling Uproars, it can't be put to sleep for like 3 turns, which is super annoying. So I recommend Sporing on turn 1, false swipe on turn 2, Pokeball then. Trico, I haven't seen this swarm yet, so I actually can't confirm that this is even returning for this year. I'm going to put a question mark. I don't know if this is confirmed, but if it is here, it's going to end up being Soak, false swipe, Spore, and then either Ultra Ball or Dust Ball, depending on whether it's nighttime or not. So that's going to depend there. And then Quick Ballable. Here are your best swarms, okay? You want to go to these whenever possible. If there is a Quick Ballable swarm up, I recommend rushing over to it and doing that first, and then doing the other more difficult swarms after. There's been situations where, like, let's say there's like a Glaceon swarm and a Pineco swarm happening at the same time. If I go to the Glaceon swarm first, I might catch like 3. I might run into a problem. There's not always be a potential to run into a problem, and maybe I catch like 3 or 4 of the Glaceons, which is how the 4 swarm spawns per swarm. But then by the time I finish, the Pineco swarm despawned, right? But if I go to the Pineco spawn first, I can quick ball all 4 of them super easily, and then go to the Glaceon swarm after, and probably still catch like 2 to 3 of them. So I definitely recommend going to the quick ballable swarms first whenever possible, and just prioritizing these. They're just so simple, they're easy. They're just so good. Definitely prioritize the quick ball swarms, and those are Snowrunt, Swinub, Staryu, Pineco, Field, Deerling, and Seal. So most swarms are quick ballable, which is fantastic. Now, the worst swarm, in my opinion, is Delibird. And you can't, I say skip if busy. The if busy is very important. The Xmas event is so overwhelming. There's so many things to do. You can even farm Lost Presence in between swarm spawns, but that'll be a different video. Okay, Lost Presence, keep an eye out for that. But when this says, so you do need some Delibirds. Don't skip Delibirds entirely, because if these little nerds ask for Delibirds and then you don't have Delibirds, well, now you're Delibird locked, right? So you do need to catch some Delibirds, but once you have like 8 Delibirds, maybe even like 6 to 10, I would start. It's a pain in the butt. I would skip them. The reason they're a pain in the butt, the best Delibird strat is False Swipe, Spore, Ultra Ball, and it's a 70% catch rate. Or you can Dust Ball at nighttime. The problem is that half of the Delibirds have Vital Spirit, which means they cannot be put to sleep, which catching those is a nightmare. False Swipe, Ultra Balling, or False Swipe, it's such a pain in the butt. Even False Swipe Dust Balling, your catch rate becomes like 47% or something ridiculously low. I don't know the exact number. I'm trying to spitballing, but it's very, very low. So you could even, if you still want to do the Delibird swarm, you could even just run from all the Vital Spirit ones after you try to spore it. Just if it doesn't work, just run, in my opinion, and just hope for more in the future. This is definitely the worst swarm, but you still need to do some of them if possible to have some in your PC. I think that's everything I want to cover. If I missed anything, if you have any questions, let me know in the comments. Once again, always sell your Mysterious Balls. If you want profit, sell your Mysterious Balls. Yes, you can open them and gamble for a shiny chance. You know, it seems like so low. It's a nice shiny rate. Sure. It's so expensive. There are better ways to shiny hunt in PokeMMO. I don't recommend it. I would severely recommend just selling and taking that consistent profit. Pokeyen is king in PokeMMO. Hopefully you found this video helpful. Like it if it was, dislike if not. Subscribe for tons of Xmas event guides as the event rolls out, and we continue to learn more and more as a community. Thank you for your patience with that. Follow me on Twitch to see stuff like this live. Discord down below if you're interested in that, of course, which hopefully should be helpful to you during the event. And if you want to go above and beyond and support me during the holiday seasons, Twitch Primes, Twitch subs, YouTube memberships, PayPal and Venmo donations do help out a ton. But more importantly, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, whatever you celebrate, and much love to you guys. And hopefully you can make some good Pokeyen during the event. I'll see you guys later. But for now, peace, Reno.